Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, July 31st, 2026. It's now 10 a.m. We're here for a special session of the Hunt County Commissioners Court. This time, 9 a.m., I'm sorry. I ain't woke up yet. This time I'll call the meeting to order. We have Commissioner Money, Monroe, Smith, and Harrison present. I'm Judge Stovall. I'll be presiding over the meeting today. At this time, we'll have public testimony. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should conduct themselves in a civil manner. The Commissioners Court cannot take action on items not listed on the agenda in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Concerns will be addressed by county staff. They may be placed on a future agenda or addressed by some other course of response. Do we have anybody wish to speak at this time? You can sit down. All right, being none, I'll close the public testimony. We have no old business. Under new business, we have no consent item, calendar items, action items. We have anything from the auditor's office? We don't have anything to clean up. Okay. Action item number 1, a presentation from Encore to discuss the SRP work being done in Hunt County. Larry?
Honorable Judge and Commissioners, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Larry Willis. I'm the area manager for Encore Electric Delivery. For this area, I have the Sulphur Springs Service Center, Paris Service Centers, and Celeste Service Centers. And so, but I'm not the only area manager that works in Hunt County. There's some that come out of the metro area toward this way that handle Farmersville and Princeton, stuff like that. But anyway, Commissioner Money had asked me, we've got a lot of work going on in Hunt County, and specifically, we've had a lot of work with our SRP, and what the SRP is the System Resiliency Plan, and this was established under Texas House Bill 2555, and what it is a 3-year plan that was filed with the PUC for $3 billion to strengthen the distribution network. And the program covers 2025 through 2027. So this is SRP1. Of course, as vast as our system is, we won't be able to cover our whole system with one system resiliency plan. So there'll be others filed probably after this one takes place. But that's a lot of the work that's going on in Hunt County. And I'll get to some specifics about Hunt County. But the System Resiliency Plan, what it is we do an inspection on our facilities. We're doing pole inspections, load analysis, and pole loading. We're looking at transformers. We're looking at vegetation management, the tree trimming, and then also installing critical equipment that can do switching, automated switching, and looking at overload transformers, stuff of that nature. Specifically to Hunt County, all the inspection work is done for Hunt County out of this System Resiliency Plan. So moving forward, you're going to probably see a lot of Encore workers, contractors in the area you probably already have. But we're going to be replacing about 600 poles and about 1,600 cross arms. And we're trimming about 270 miles of line. And that was looked at through what they call LIDAR, which is an imagery system that looks at, risk of trees in the right of way and that. But that's been identified. Most of the capital work for the capital work where we're going to be replacing poles and cross arms, I think most of that trimming is finished now. And so we'll be in the construction phase now. And we're also going to deploy nearly 50 automated switching devices that can automatically detect outages, reroute power through alternate lines to reduce customer impacts and restore service more quickly. You'll have fewer customers are out till those repairs are made, and we can do some switching and get most of the folks on. Uh,
Are you doing the entire county or just?
Yeah,
parts of
well,
it?
they study everything in specific, but yeah, let me give you some specifics on, I got some notes here. Let me look through this.
You said most of it's gonna be in precinct one, and I was hoping a little of it'd be in.
Yeah, well, we're doing work in Commerce, Farmersville, let's see. Let me find where I'm at here. Okay, so inspection wise, it's done Greenville, Celeste, Campbell, Caddo Mills, Farmersville, Wolf City, and Commerce Feeders 1, 2, and 3. So all of that inspection work is done. So construction progress, we're about 56% done with actual construction work in the Farmersville area, and Greenville's in the early stages, the area around Greenville. Campbell scheduled to start coming up. Celeste, Wolf City, and Commerce are planned to estimate to start in August. So I think we're about done with all that tree trimming. The CTE equipment, that will probably be some of the last stuff we do, because some of it is going to be getting those lines in order to be able to do the switching. And I don't know if you remember when, it used to be Sherryland, and Encore took that over, and some of the facilities were pretty dilapidated at that time, and we had some issues, and we actually went into what they call a red zone, because we were having so many problems over here, and we spent a lot of money and did a lot of improvements, and I don't know about y'all, but it seems like the weather just gets worse every year, or there's more severe storms. I don't know if the severity of the storms, but it just seems like our weather, but that's part of this, after Uri and Hurricane Beryl, the legislature did some things like this SRP work. Also, the Texas Penal Code 3815, where anybody interfering with a utility worker can be prosecuted, So it's different things like that the legislature's trying to do to help get things in order. Execution timeline, so the overloaded transformer work for Scatter Branch, which is over by Neylandville, has been completed, and there's 2 Inglewood subs that come out of toward Terrell that come up and catch the south side of Greenville, and those have been done. So
Larry, your presentation or notes there, is that something that you could possibly email to us so
I
we would
sure
all
can,
have that?
yeah. I've got this for you.
Good
I didn't
deal.
know how to get it to you. So.
Brittany can help you out on that.
But yeah, this gives you a little more specific information about kind of where we're working and some timelines.
And one other request I have is when you send that over, if you don't mind, make sure that we have, a 24/7 contact if we have trees down or it's around power lines for Encore, that we have the right contacts. I know you always generally.
Yeah, you can always
handle it when we
call
call
me.
you,
Yeah.
but still, that way if there's
Yeah,
somebody
there's-
else that we need to contact if you're out
There's a
of
doc
town.
number that we have for the fire departments that they use for emergency stuff. That's specific, but a lot of times, we'll get, they'll get a timeline that they're not happy with, so they'll end up calling me and I'll have to get involved, but, that's pretty much it. That's kind of what's going on with that. So, well, there's a lot of other work, and you got to understand that this is not handled locally. This is out of Dallas. So
Right.
this is, so we get involved when issues come up, but, a lot of our, our local office handles, local projects, local things, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes on with the company that comes out of the Metroplex. And a lot of off-site work, a lot of other, what we call 1510 work, which is planned work, but this is additional work on top of that, which is pretty much handled all by contract design, contract, tree trim, contract, construction. But we do have FCCs that oversee that stuff, that are company employees.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Larry.
All right?
Thank you, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Action item number 2, presentation by the City of Greenville on animal control services. Summer, who's gonna make the presentation? Who's the lucky ones? All right. I guess just before y'all start, for the public, we've been talking about this at the last several meetings. Animal control across the counties has been a struggle for everybody. It's getting to be more and more of it. The city of Greenville, City of Commerce, is being overcrowded at their kennels, and it's gotten to be a problem. And then we're getting more and more strays and bites out in the county, and we don't have anybody to handle those bites out in the county. So we're trying to resolve that issue, and that we're hoping to clean up a contract that's several decades old that hasn't been addressed in a long time. So I've asked the city to come and make a presentation to us about some options that we discussed last week in a meeting. So fire away.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Brandon Crodel. I've been the animal control manager for 31 years now with the city. Just to give you some history, we started this contract back in '96. You guys pay us $100,000 a year for us to take animals from the county. At that time, it was free for your residents to bring them in and drop them off. In 2006, the numbers were starting to get out of control, so we came back to Commissioner's Court and we asked that we increase that contract. The commissioners at that time decided instead of increasing the contract, we would charge your citizens $25 per animal to drop them off with us. The numbers are creeping up again, so we want to increase this contract again. We were wanting to go to $250,000 for the county portion, and then we'll charge $100 per animal for your citizens to drop them off. I brought a spreadsheet that I've done for every 5 years. It kind of shows the numbers coming up and coming down, and I have those for y'all if you'd like to see them.
Clear.
I've got one, but I didn't bring it. If you don't have enough, I can. Here, they can have mine. That's fine, no problem. I've already looked at it.
So the first year that we started this contract in '96, you can see the Hunt County residents brought in 1,357 animals. By 2006, that was up to 2,474 animals. And this is all done by our fiscal year from October to September. And after 2006, when we started charging, you can see in 5 years, the county number came way down to 421, which helped us at the shelter. And now we're back up to 792 so far this year, in this fiscal year. This is as of June 2026. Last fiscal year, the Hunt County residents brought us 1,132 animals. What this does for us is it fills my shelter up. Once we're full, we have to euthanize. Once we euthanize, we have everybody in the country after us because we've put animals to sleep. So I know this cost seems prohibitive. We were trying to slow down the numbers coming in. Probably 60 to 70% of the animals brought to the shelter are brought in by owners and dropped off, or their litters that they've allowed to happen on their property and dropped them off with us.
So what did you say triggered the euthanized, just capacity?
Capacity, yes. We have 38 dog kennels, and so once those are full, we have to make room for the next day to come in. We are an open intake. We do not turn people away. So if they show up with an animal and we don't have any space, we have to make room somewhere.
So I assume it's done on a kind of a first in, first out kind of basis?
We try to do that. We look at behavior also and health.
Just so I make sure I understand the numbers, because you have lots of cities referenced.
Correct.
And so is that because it's inside their city limits that it's
Inside their
separate from
city.
Hunt County?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we charge $250 for a resident of another city to bring us an animal at this time.
So those, you have the separate numbers for those other cities? I assume they do. I don't remember.
Yeah, they're on the spreadsheet.
Okay, I
You're
don't
right.
care.
You
That's
can have
fine.
those.
I thought that was what I remember.
We don't get a whole lot from the other cities, but they still bring them in.
Other than the residence cost at the other cities, do they provide any, do the cities provide any supplement as well?
No,
No? So
No.
it's strictly individual cost?
yes. Yeah, Commerce is the only other city with a animal shelter in their city. I think Caddo may contract with someone to do animal control in their city.
It's a hard understanding.
Yeah.
So you're proposing to go from 100 to 250 and then raise the drop-off fee to 100?
Yes.
Is that what you're proposing?
Yes.
Anything in there about the concerns that I've brought up about law enforcement and the health department? Is that addressed anywhere in here?
Not in this. And we have talked to the sheriff. I do have a price list that we did for him that we sent over if they want us to go out and pick up. On quarantine for dog bites, I mean, we're limited by space for that. We have 5 kennels for quarantine. I've had 2 dog bites this week, so once ours are full, we have to turn county residents away for bites, for quarantines. We just don't have the room for it.
So I don't know if Rodney's here. I'm curious
he was.
if the city's full, you know, as far as quarantine, where do we go if we get turned away? Okay.
But they stay pretty full too. We just gotta hope one of them's not full when the other one's dry.
Owned animals, they have the opportunity to quarantine at a vet's office. It's strays that are gonna be your problem, that you're gonna need a place for.
So in the contract that we have today, is any of that addressed? I know it's an old contract. Is that addressed at all?
No, quarantine was never put into the contract. We've been taking quarantines from the county. We charge whoever brings them in up front our quarantine fee so that we make sure we recoup those costs.
So it's as occurrence happens that gets charged.
Yeah, it's $10 a day for the quarantine, and then we charge them for a rabies shot and a health check if they haven't had that done.
Well, my concern has always been if y'all go to $100, I think they're gonna turn a bunch of them loose out in the county, and then we got that problem. And I don't know how y'all feel, commissioners, but
I think that's why
Well-
you see the number so low from the cities. It's gonna cost them $250 to drop a dog off, so that's why they're not bringing them over to
they're
drop
probably
them
letting
off.
them out on us.
Yeah, taking them out to the county.
It's-
Well, again, one of my focuses is trying to figure out what we're gonna do for the health department and law enforcement. Not necessarily dropping dogs off, for citizens throughout the county. I know that's important, but that's a little more important when sheriff's office or something like that has somebody pulled over at 3 o'clock in the morning and needs a dog picked up. So,
And they
We've
can't
had-
bring them.
I'm sorry. We've had a couple of conversations about that. We did come up with a price list for that if we were to go out and pick up. And I think we can work that out with the sheriff's department on that, with his
well,
budget.
I understand that, but the price to go out and do that still comes through us with a contract.
Sure.
I would like to see that.
Okay. Got it right here.
Perfect.
What
You got
does
new
the
copies for
250
everybody?
actually? What does the 250 actually cover?
Thank you.
If- we're paying 100,000 now, and then we're going up to 250, but what does that cost, even the 100,000, what does that actually pay for?
The fee pays for your citizens to be able to bring the animals to us, basically. If we don't have a contract with you guys, then we'll just be a city facility and we won't take animals from outside our facility, our city limits.
But you're taking them in from other cities that aren't compensating, so you would still take them in at whatever you charge in the other cities?
That would be a discussion we would want to have. I mean, personally, if we didn't have a contract with you guys, I would love to just be a city facility. And that would cut my numbers in half, which would take tons of pressure off of me. But I also know that we have an issue in the county, and if we do need to go up to 250 or 300 or whatever it needs to be to cover that, then we would have to talk about that to make that decision.
So on this $150 per call out plus $5 a day per animal for impoundment, that 150, is that what the county pays?
Yes.
And then the $5 a day is what the county would pay as well?
Yes, unless the owner came and got it, then we would charge that to the owner.
On top of the $5 a day, which I understand when we're talking a couple of $100,000 is minimal dollars, but, you know, if we do this contract, it's $250,000 a year we're giving you, and then on top of that, we're gonna pay another $5 a day for impoundment?
So the issue with impoundment is that animal is that person's property. So the whole time they're in jail, I can't do anything with it.
Right.
I'm babysitting that animal for the whole time they're in jail. So unless we can get them to sign it over to us, if they sign it over to us, then we don't have to have a stray hold, we don't have to have any hold on it. Once they sign it over to us, we can put it right up for adoption. We wouldn't be charging you that at that point. But a lot of these people get arrested, sometimes they're out the next day, sometimes they're in jail for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, however long it is.
What are we exactly getting for $250,000? It looks like we're paying $250,000, and then we're paying animal storage.
That would be if we do this with the sheriff's department, for them to bring them for us
Without
to
a
go out and pick
contract.
them up, for us to go pick them up.
Oh,
if the
this is
sheriff-
pickup.
This was pickup on this process.
Okay, so then for the $250,000, exactly what are we getting?
It's so that your citizens can bring animals to our shelter.
Without any other fee?
No, we
No,
would
they're
still
gonna pay-
charge
still
them
gonna
a
pay
fee.
a
Still
fee.
charging.
Still charge them a fee.
Why don't we
mean-
just pay per dog basis? No contract fee, like citizens are paying.
So we're paying,
an
essentially, it's $250,000 for a potential rental.
Yes.
We're renting space for
So any-
$250,000 a year.
Any stray dog that's brought into the shelter, I have to hold it for 4 days before I can put it up for adoption.
Okay,
So during that time, we're feeding it, we're taking care of it, running electric, running water.
Sorry, let me interject. I'm the city manager, and from a budget standpoint, but you're asking what you get for the 250.
right.
So for the 26-27 budget year, his budget to run the entire shelter is $935,269.
Okay.
So basically, what we're asking for is to help us cover our cost. So we're at 900,000. Our staffing's a little over $500,000. If you guys were to contribute the 250, you'd be helping us cover our cost to run the shelter. So that's what your 250,000 would get us, would help us out. Like Judge said, that contract that last 100,000 was from 2006. So that was a contract that the pricing was based on 20 years ago. Obviously, pricing has changed.
Oh, 100%.
Staffing has changed. Obviously, we've grown as a city, so our staffing has grown as well. I think maybe even 5 years ago, we had, 4 staff members out there. Now I think we have 8.
There's 10 of us.
10. There's 10 total. Says we're open on the weekends now, and we're open after hours too. So we've adjusted our hours based on what the citizens asked for, and also for the county residents too. And so that's really kind of what we're asking for from the 250,000 standpoint, is really just to help cover our costs. And also on the Mr. Harrison, on the when you're talking about going out and going on calls, the original contract, that wasn't something that was in the original
Right,
contract.
correct.
If we want to put it in there, that's perfectly fine. We just ask that we cover our cost to be able to do that, because really Brandon's the only one that's on call. So he would be the only one on call 24/7 to be able to do those kind of things. So we're just asking to help us cover our costs. We're not asking anything extra. It's up to you guys, whatever pricing you want to offer to your residents. That's up to you guys, but we're just really kind of asking the county to just cover the costs that we're operating our shelter, because those costs have escalated, and especially in the last 3 years. So that's really from the 250,000 standpoint of what you're getting. So
Thank
you're
you.
getting the shelter, you're getting, all the operating, the hours and everything like that. So sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
The problem we're having is the same thing we're having everywhere else. We're growing so fast. It's just getting to be a bigger problem. And the mayor and I've talked about it in those meetings a little bit about trying to do a shelter that would be for all the county, maybe all the cities that chip in, but that's a long-term project. We're not gonna solve that today or in this year's budget, but if we could go forward, start expanding it, because their shelter is not big enough, Commerce is not big enough, and those are the only two in the county. That's gotta be addressed. And like I said, my concerns, none of us won't spend any more money, but we've got to do something, because I believe they'll just turn more and more of them out and going to create a bigger and bigger problem for the sheriff's office or somebody if we don't do something to help with the animals. I'm not saying that maybe there's another way to go about this, but that's, for what I know, this is our only option to help out with the animal control for now. But we certainly, going forward, we need to work with both cities and see if we can't build a regional shelter of some sort.
Could we maybe negotiate the drop-off fee? I think that's the big hit on your citizens. I mean, people like to know naturally what the overall cost is for the budget and the taxpayers. But your hit's gonna be dropping off for $100. And if I'm not mistaken, if you have a litter of pups that comes with them, it ain't just the $100 no more. It'd be for the whole litter. So, we talked about the other day, he had a lady that dropped off a litter and some dogs, and it was $1,000. And in a lot of our areas out here, that's gonna be the holdup. I know it's $25 now, and my suggestion was maybe just doubling the drop-off fee. And then y'all still working on your other major fee. Okay?
I understand your concern, and that's,
We're trying to get the
it's-
drop-offs to where they will drop them off.
It sounds like all the other kennels around are going up on similar fees. I don't, what did Commerce, has Commerce said what they're going to yet? Yeah, okay.
That would be my only question, okay?
All right. Thank you, Sheriff.
Brandon, what's your current capacity?
Like I said, I have 38 dog kennels, I have 24 cat kennels, and then I have 9 isolation kennels. I have 14 feral cat kennels and 5 quarantine.
What's
So-
your turnover, typical cycle time for one that's in there, assuming they don't get euthanized?
I haven't ran that number in a while, but it's probably around 14 to 21 days.
So I'm trying to figure out how you handle these numbers.
It's not easy. It's really not. I mean, and part of the drop-off fee, I know it sounds high, but if you're going to bring me a litter of 6 dogs or 6 puppies, and then in 6 months you bring me another 6 puppies, and in 6 months you bring me another 6, well, you could have spent that $100 and went and got your dog fixed at Cause for Paws, and we wouldn't have this problem. Like I said, most of these surrenders aren't strays; they're owned animals. They're people that their dog had a litter, and they don't want the litter anymore. We had a lady turned in 8 of 9 yesterday because she wanted to keep 1. And so it's just a never-ending cycle. This is the second time she's brought us puppies.
Is that one of our citizens or y'all's?
It was county.
County?
It was county, yes. Believe me, we have the same problem in town.
Oh, I know you do. I was just curious.
But we have a pet limit in town too, so we can kind of curb that.
Yeah. Almost be cheaper for us if that's happening with the county is to pay for the neutering.
There's a lot of people that push for that.
Yeah.
That's not cheap either.
Richard, any other thoughts?
Just, and I understand this, it's easy to focus on the financial aspect of it, because it's an increase that in a flat year, nobody's got a place to figure out how to deal with it. But beyond that, it feels like the capacity's not there either. You know, just when you look at the numbers in a growing world. What was it Rodney briefed here about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, that, well, year to date, we're like double or triple the bites that we normally have?
That's got to be addressed going forward, and a regional center is the only thing I can think of that everybody could afford, and we'd have, if it was me doing it, I'd want to force these other small cities to join in with something, or the regional wouldn't take care of them. Or the citizens bringing them are going to have to pay a much higher fee. And I don't know what all the small cities get charged when they come in.
They're not bringing them to us.
They're not bringing
It's their citizens. I mean, honestly, that's why we went up to $250, because you think about it, if we said that we're going to charge $25, then
y'all
you
already
go
charge-
hire a guy and he's bringing 100 dogs to us a month, and you're paying $25 a piece as a city. That'd be a good deal for these small cities, but
But you're charging their citizens if they bring all the
Yes.
cities.
So if a
charge
city-
$250,
you're-
so you
right.
don't get a lot of the small.
right. So if a small city, I mean, let's say Quinlan decided they wanted to bring us an animal, we would charge them the $250 also.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a stupid question. So this is
You do
not-
that a lot.
I do it a lot, and so somebody's gotta be stupid, so I'm just curious. Take the current model out, right, and the conversation we're having out. Does this have the potential to be a small profit center?
Profit?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If somebody else, if somebody wanted to be a contractor and do this,
Do it.
is this a business that they make profit on? Where I'm going is, what if another city said, hey, you know what, we've got a capacity issue, because I'm kind of thinking about the capacity on the conversation. And we had 3 cities that had it, or they could do it. Is there something where this isn't a drain on every entity, to where that they're losing money?
That's the regional concept. Get everybody, get all the cities.
I mean, you could,
Yeah, but the capital investment would be a whole lot less if Quinlan
So-
said, we'll take this building that we're about to vacate for them and put 12 kennels in it.
Right.
You
And
know?
they could do that on their own.
Yeah.
but really the only way, you could structure your adoption fees high enough to make a profit, but then you cut your adoptions down. I mean, the state's going to require them to be sterilized and get a rabies shot, and we have a contract. Cause for Top Paws does that for us, or they sign a contract with us that says the citizen will get that done within a certain amount of time. So, I mean, we're charging $15 for an adult dog that the city gets, and then $10 for a microchip that we put in. So we've got that fee coming back to us a little bit. It evens out because that's what we pay for them. So, I mean, if we went up, we could do that. But if we go up on our fees, then we go down on our adoptions, and our euthanasia increases, and then we're back in the news where we don't want to be.
Yeah, you're getting pretty popular.
I don't know about popular.
Tough problem.
No kidding.
I don't, yeah, Commissioner Money, I agree, the 100's a big jump. Economics say that, when you charge enough until they stop coming pretty much. So if we did go to a lower number, and if the numbers stay the same, then could we adjust it in the contract where if the numbers are staying the same, then y'all go to 75 to charge our citizens, and then 100, stair step it and see? Because that's, to me, that's what's the driver in it, is what is that number that they're gonna stop bringing them and start turning them loose? And if we're just pulling $100 out, that might be a big jump. It'd just be such a shock, they'd just start letting them go. But if we went to 50, I don't think anybody would turn it around. And if those numbers stayed the same after the first quarter, then could we make it where if we went to 70, y'all went to 75 in another quarter or the second half of the year or something, and then address it next year's budget of both of ours, something like that. Sliding scale, I guess, is what we're looking for, or I'm asking about. I'm looking for it.
I mean, we can structure the deal however you guys agree to. you know, obviously, we're gonna continue to operate the way we're operating. We're under a 2006 contract, which
Right.
is technically,
Yeah.
it's technically out of date.
Right.
So, I mean, we're gonna continue to do what we do. I don't think, and I'm not speaking for council, obviously, they approved the budget piece of this, which I go to them in August, but I don't know that they would have an issue with anything additional that you guys kind of help us cover that $952,000 cost to run the shelter.
Well, I believe we gotta help you some. I just, what is that number?
And from a regional perspective, I think that's something we can address in, you know, throughout the year.
Yeah, in the
This is not a
future.
budget decision that we need
No.
to make today, or for us
What-
or for y'all.
No, we don't have enough time.
But from a capital investment, because it's gonna be substantial, and we've had some discussions out there, and we do have some opportunities to do that. Obviously, we would need some partnerships, whether it's with you guys or the other cities, to be able to do that from a regional standpoint. We'd be more than happy to have those conversations and start that conversation, for sure. But we definitely would enjoy, or not enjoy, but we would be up for those discussions to be a regional shelter. It's kind of our goal for all the other facilities that we're operating at this point, so.
When are you taking this to your council?
So I take the budget to them August 11th, so.
August
And then, we won't approve budget until September 8th.
So Commissioner Harrison did the quick math on the 250. What'd you say it was roughly $220 per
Yeah.
animal, just based on the 1 year here. And then, of course, what the citizen would pay is another $100 beyond that. So that'd be $320 per. As far as what it's costing, total cost to manage it. It really doesn't work for you, it doesn't sound like, based on your budget needs, of the 952 being the number, for us to say, okay, let's just have our citizens, I'm just trying to make numbers match, and so the concept doesn't mean it makes sense. So, okay, we're gonna make people pay $350, pay by the drink. That doesn't work for you, because that doesn't take care of your fixed cost, because it's not consistent cash flow, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, it doesn't cover all of our costs, but anything at this point anything, you know, we understand it's a 20-year contract and we haven't done anything with it. So it's not like we were able to phase it in like the judge was talking about, where you phase in, okay, so it hits your budget a little bit easier, because that's probably what we should have done all these years. But we're not at that point. So here's where we're at. And so we didn't want to overwhelm you guys. I know you guys are in the same budget situation we are. I've seen the tax rolls, so we understand. So we just wanted to be able to come to you guys and ask for anything that you guys would be able to help us out with. Because, yeah, it doesn't, I mean, the total, it covers, if you guys were to go to, let's just say the 250 for the annual and then charge the 100, that would cover, on average, you know, about 355,600 for the year, because you bring in about 88 a month. So that would cover about 355. So that gets us to about a third, or a little over a third. Whereas right now, I mean, out of 935,000, you know, you guys are helping us cover, you know, anywhere from about 126,000. So that's kind of the increase. Now, you know, if the judge wanted to, if you guys wanted to phase it in, we'd be up for that and look at this pricing every year. So we're looking at every budget year. We certainly could come to you guys to do that. We do that every year anyway in our budget process. So we would just be coming to you guys and look at this contract, and then just get something done for 25, 26, or 26, 27, and then look at it and put something in there that would allow us to do that. So we'd be up for that too. So we want to work with you guys, you know, but obviously, like, you know, Mr. Smith said, we have a capacity issue. We know that. We're trying to address it on our end as well. But we're willing to work with you. So, and I know the council and the mayor, they are too. I mean, we were the ones having the discussions. So we got to get something done.
All right, well, give us a chance to discuss it, and we'll get back to you.
Okay. Thank y'all for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
bet,
it.
thank y'all.
you.
All right. Action item number 3, to discuss and possibly take action on Hunt County Human Resources Manual Modification Computer Policy. Brandon?
All right, as you know, my job is to keep the Hunt County employees' data and networks safe. In order to do so, I have to implement the bare minimum of security that's absolutely necessary for users' accounts to stay safe. So what I've done in this policy is I've added a multi-factor authentication section, and it's in green. Everything that I've added is in green there. But I've also reworded a few things, modified a few paragraphs to make it more understanding for employees and to better explain what's necessary, like for the that first section in yellow there, where it says users of the email system are personally responsible with guidance and training from your supervisor and information technology staff. That was already in there. I just reworded it so that users understood what documents needed to be retained for a retention period, and so they better understand what a retention period is, because it was kind of vague prior. So all that's saying is, and I added that last sentence, as a best practice, employees should retain all non-spam emails unless they are specifically authorized for deletion under Hunt County's approved records retention schedule. And that records retention schedule is based on the state's retention schedule or an individual department's retention schedule for the type of document that the email is related to. So that's just in there to help employees better understand why they need to save their emails instead of just deleting everything when they're done using it. Because obviously we are subject to public information requests, and I run into a lot of issues where employees just didn't know that they were supposed to save emails. So it's better spelled out in this policy. And I'm going to work with all the department heads to make sure that they have their employees read this and understand it. And with help from the different elected officials and department heads, I want to make sure that employees are retaining all emails as they should. I removed, but right below that, I removed number 2. That's not going to be in there anymore just because that's not an issue anymore. I mean, that was something that was a problem 20 years ago, chain letters and stuff like that. So I just removed that. It's just, it doesn't need to be there. On the next page, in yellow, it says installing software of any kind. That previously said installing third-party software is prohibited. I just put installing software of any kind because users don't have the ability to do that anyway because no one has admin privileges. So I just wanted to make sure it was worded correctly for the policy. On the next page, in green there, I added internet in there just because a lot of people are using cloud-based products online now. So I wanted to include information created on the internet in maybe a cloud environment. I wanted to include that to make sure that employees understood that if it was done on a county computer during business hours, then it was county property and not their own personal property because it is on a county-owned computer. The next section there in yellow, I worded that a little better so users understood a little better that all data on county computers is the property of Hunt County, and that the Information Technology Department may, without notice, inspect their computers, look at anything on there at the direction of a department head or elected official who request it, in which we get those requests almost weekly, especially during the time of public information request where we have to go in and do a deep dive in their email or their files. Which that was already there, it was just worded a little bit better. Yes, sir.
All right, when you talk about all information created and when you add internet in, so you're including things like, AI, Chat GPT, those kind of things. Is that what that's?
Absolutely. And we also added an AI section at the very end of this to include that specifically as well.
Okay.
On the next page there, this is just the minimum password complexity requirements. Previously, the minimum password complexity was 8 characters in length with 3 of the 4 following categories. We have since changed that to 12 characters with 4 characters from 4 of those categories, which is all 4. That's just to increase security. We have to increase these password complexity requirements every few years just because it gets easier for passwords to be cracked. That's just the nature of the game. Technology advances so much that we have to do that. And so this is the bare minimum. We would love it if people used 20-digit passwords so we never had to worry about it, but this is the bare minimum that will keep Hunt County users safe. The multi-factor authentication section is below that. This is brand new. This is what was added. In the last few years, we've had to implement multi-factor authentication for our email system and quite a few other products that we use. Currently, we allow users to use a text message or phone call as a method of authentication so they don't have to download an app on their phone. But as we know, technology keeps advancing and those are no longer very secure. For one, we have to rely on the carrier, the phone company. They send a text message and it can be intercepted. I mean, we also have to rely on someone's wireless account. If their wireless account gets hacked, then someone can redirect or forward their phone's text messages, calls to another phone, and you would never know it because you can have a phone forwarded and it still send you a copy and you think you're the only one getting it. And so these are the ways that we've noticed that we have been targeted in the past year. And this is the way that most breaches are happening here recently, for not only for us, but for other counties, other organizations. So to mitigate that, we are going to require all Hunt County users to install the Microsoft Authenticator app on their personal device. This means that the code is created directly on their device. It's not relying on a carrier to send you a text message, so it can't be intercepted. It's right there. It's created at that moment on your phone. You take it from your phone, type it in on the computer, mobile device, whatever you're using, and it can't be intercepted in transit unless someone's looking over your shoulder. And currently that is the most secure way that we can do this and not cost the county a lot of money to do so. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are certain departments who are not allowed to have mobile devices. In those exceptions, we would have to purchase hardware tokens. There's a few different options. It could be a device that plugs into the computer or a physical device that is generating a new code every 30 seconds. That's not a mobile device. There's a few different ways of doing that. It will cost the county a little bit of money, about $50 per user to do that. And right now, the only people that would be affected by that would be the jail employees, because they're not allowed to have mobile devices on the floor. So we do have a solution for those employees. It will cost a little money, and it's going to cause a little more responsibility on the employee because they have to keep up with this. They have to maintain it. If they lose it, break it, it costs money to replace it. But it would only be for the specific employees who are not allowed to use mobile devices.
Brandon, you made a comment, and then we'll make sure I understood it, that be putting this on people's personal devices.
Yes.
How do we require that?
Well, the same way Walmart requires you to download an app to use their shopping.
Yeah, but it's a choice for me with Walmart. So
Exactly.
it'd be a choice where I couldn't access it personally. I would say I've got a history where there was some issues where if I wanted to require something, then I had to provide them a county phone or something for them to do that because they didn't want to put that on their personal.
Well, these are government resources. These are sensitive data that we deal with, and if my outlook is if you want to be able to do your job, this is one of the requirements of it. But that is why I'm trying to get a policy passed, because I can't do this without that. So
Yeah, Brandon and I have talked about that.
And Brandon was a little reticent to try to push that policy on people without talking to me about the legality of that specific thing. I did look into it, and I do believe it is legal to require two-factor authentication. It doesn't use any of their resources. It just is a method of making it more secure by using the app to do that. I think if we have employees who don't want to do a two-factor authentication, it's likely going to come down to they just don't want to do it, rather than they're worried about using their own personal assets. And not wanting to do a two-factor authentication is a personal choice, but that's not good enough. We're talking about the problems that come along with hacking. As the city of Greenville can attest, from many weeks of having to deal with that. It's not illegal to require that, and it is very problematic to not have two-factor authentication.
No, I'm good. I've lived through this. Want to make sure that you were prepared to deal with what, there's going to be 3 people that have issue with it.
Understood.
Yeah.
I think we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my question was why would they not want to have the most secure method of securing their accounts? Because if anyone who's ever dealt with a breach, they knows it's invasive. If their account is compromised at any point, we have to do a full investigation on any email account that has been compromised. That means look through every single sent, received email, every attachment, every sender, and just determine if any of this data has been downloaded by a third party, someone on the outside. And then if it has, then we have to reach out to each one of the individuals affected by that. Let's say my email gets hacked and I've got someone from the public, there's personal information that is not public information gets released, then we have to reach out and contact each one of those people and notify them and mitigate that somehow. And usually we have to include Texas Association of Counties, DIR. Daniel Ray has to be involved in that. I don't know, it's a full-scale investigation, and it takes time, it takes resources away from doing the other things we need to do. So as best practice, I would just say, require it. That way we don't have to deal with it.
So we just be required when we first get in our system in the morning, and then we're good? Or
So we determine the length of time. So the way we were setting it up is if you are on a county computer, meaning you're in a county building sitting down on the Hunt County domain using our computer, we're requiring multi-factor authentication once a week. That's because you are sitting on a trusted computer, on a trusted network with a trusted IP address. Microsoft trusts us because we say trust this IP. Now, whenever you are outside of Hunt County, say you're on your laptop at home, on your home Wi-Fi, you're going to be required to authenticate every day. And you can have a session that lasts up to 8 hours long. So if you were to authenticate in the morning, work for 6-7 hours, turn off your laptop, and then after 8 hours, log on and try to work again, you would have to re-authenticate again. So it's not that big of a burden if you're here in the office, but if you're on a mobile device or on your laptop and you're not on a trusted IP address, on a trusted network, you will have to authenticate more often. Just because we are not in control of the network you're using, we are not in control of the device you're using most of the time. I have no oversight on that. I can't put virus protection on it. I can't protect any device you're using outside of Hunt County unless it is a Hunt County owned laptop or mobile device.
So it'd be the same procedure for Hunt County laptop. You just have to do it once a week. Not every time.
Not a Hunt County laptop, because you are still on
Somebody else's
at home.
network.
You're still on your home network, someone else's network that is not behind a firewall that is
Okay.
protected. Any questions regarding multi-factor authentication?
Commissioner?
did you say the cost was, Brandon?
It's about $50 per user for employees that cannot use a mobile device. And it would be a I'm sorry?
Is that reoccurring or is that a one-time charge?
That's a one-time charge for the device. It's reoccurring if they lose it, if they break it. But it would also require for us to have the back end of that on a server. So there would be a requirement of keeping a server up to date to manage this. Currently, we have space on servers to use for that, but eventually, about every 5 to 6 years, we like to update our servers just to make sure they stay up to date with the most recent operating systems.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Just out of curiosity, have you got an estimate of how many employees that would be? I call it a fob, I guess. That would be there.
I estimate it's probably going to be around 50. Chad was in here. He's gone. How many jail employees do y'all have that aren't allowed to use? 76. 76. So about 76 employees that would have to have the physical device. And that was included in my budget already to purchase this. So
That's
it
a
wouldn't,
good answer.
it wouldn't be an additional cost. The next section, legacy MFA, that's just explaining that text messages and voice call verification cannot be used anymore for multi-factor authentication. The next section is AI usage. It's just saying that employees shall not enter, upload, or disclose confidential, sensitive, or non-public county information into any unapproved AI system. Unapproved means it's not a government version. So there's government versions of Copilot, and then there's the standard home edition of Copilot, same with ChatGPT or any of the other AIs. And the difference is the database, how the database is protected in the cloud. So currently, like for our Microsoft environment, we're not like a standard user's Microsoft 365. We are Microsoft 365 in a government cloud, which is encrypted on both ends and in transit. We would expect AI users to use that same safety measures when using AI, and which would mean if they want to use AI, they come to us, we purchase a government version for them and install it on their devices. Other than that, there was no other changes except for just changing the CJIS version in the security awareness and AI training section. I did add the word AI training to security awareness because now we are required by the state of Texas to do cybersecurity and AI training. As many of you have noticed, we've sent out the new AI training here recently. I removed legacy floppy disks from the manual since we don't deal with those anymore. And that's the end of the changes. So, if you have any questions regarding that?
Commissioner?
So if this is approved, we will be implementing this next week. We've got everything configured, ready to go. We've just been waiting to get the go-ahead to make sure this happens, because right now we're combating issues nonstop. We're targeted every day, multiple times a day, 100 times a day. People are trying to access our accounts from other countries, other states, and they're not just one attack here and there. It's targeted, like 100 an hour. Those are things we are physically having to protect against right now.
Any other questions, commissioners? Need any more time? Entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Commissioners, County Judge.
Okay, actions 4, 5, 6 are all about ESD number 1.
Yes, that's right. So these are similar to the three things that were done a couple of weeks ago with ESC number 2, but there's been a significant complication here that we're working through. On Tuesday, we received what we thought were going to be the last documents necessary from the city of Josephine. However, and I sent those over to the appraisal district so that they could do the same thing that they did with ESC number 2. However, I talked with the person over there who's working on that last night, and he pointed out a significant problem, which is that this, unlike the ETJs that we were working with on ESC number 2, this one has a major significant overlap between Caddo Mills and Royce City of their 2 ETJs. A small problem was that Hunt County didn't have the new, larger, expanded ETJs that came with the population growth in the Caddo Mills and Royce City area. That's easy enough to address because you just move it out on the map. However, we then discussed the fact that another thing that Hunt County records don't have in map form is an agreement that was reached between Royce City and Caddo Mills a few years ago that delineated a very specific line that's not a statutory line. It's just an agreement between the 2 cities about where the edge of their ETJ and future city limit expansion is going to go. That's important here because, according to the appraisal district, with all the growth on I-30 and just off of I-30 in between those 2 cities, exactly where that line is going to have a major swing in the fiscal feasibility section of the paperwork, specifically the paperwork that was going to be number 4, the findings on the petition. That's the one, if you remember, on ESC number 2 a couple of weeks ago, there were sections for each of the cities that say, well, if this city and ETJ voting as a unit vote against it, the fiscal impact of that on the amount of taxation that can come in is going to be this many dollars. The difference here is that if that line is, based on the middle of the bubble between the overlapping ETJs versus where their lines have been drawn, that could swing those numbers 15 or 20%. And even 1% makes it non-certifiable for purposes of figuring out these blanks. Now, it's not going to be difficult to get down to those numbers once we receive that map. And then I spoke last night with Matt McMahon over in Caddo Mills, and he's putting all that paperwork together and going to send it to me and to the appraisal district. So the impact of that is we're going to have to wait till the next meeting, August 11th, a week and a half from now. Because there just is no way to do 2 things. Number 1 is to fill in those blanks. Number 2 is a longer term issue, but it's going to have an impact on this, which is to show on a map exactly where that line is supposed to be. That map is necessary because that is, in addition to determining the fiscal feasibility of this, the 2 of the exhibits for item 4 and item 6 on the agenda are an official certified map. And so the exact lines of that map, halfway between Caddo and Royce City, we're not going to be able to draw with in the right way until we get that paperwork, which I should have very quick.
Excuse me, are you pretty confident that on the 11th we'll be able to address this then?
Yes,
we're a week
because
away
Matt,
from the deadline.
That's right. Yeah, the deadline is the 17th, Matt is going to have that paperwork to me within the next business day or so, either today or Monday. The person, Mr. McDade at the appraisal district, who's going to have to work with that, is going to be out until Tuesday. But once we have that information in GIS-able format, it will only take about a day to get all of that done. And so there's still plenty of time to get all that done once we get that map. That map's just not in the county's database because it is not a county-related agreement.
Can we pass that at the special session, or is that to be a regular
Yes,
session?
you can.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if there's, for whatever reason, it looks like it can't be done by the 11th, which I don't see any reason why that would be, you can go ahead and set a special session for the 16th or the 17th just to be safe. Because you basically have to because of the 5 business day
Right.
posting requirements.
Okay.
So on the 11th, if for some reason you don't have enough to bring it to us, we can set on the 11th a special session day and still make the deadline?
If you said.
No, not on the 11th. It would be too late to do it. It'd have to be the 1 or 2 days before that. And I don't have my calendar right here in front of me, but it's 5 business days, and you can't count the weekend days for either posting or the meeting. Actually, technically, you could have a meeting on a weekend day, but there has to be 4 other business days between. But I mean, we'll know by the end of this coming up week. And so there'll be plenty of time to actually call that meeting. We just have to get, agreement from the 5 members of the court about what the availability is for a special meeting that day. There may be some other things coming up anyway related to the election calendar being on the 17th. Because of the county attorney position. It's not clear to me where either one of the political parties stand on naming somebody for those ballots, but there may be something that the court has to do for that anyway.
Okay.
So,
So there's no action on items 4, 5, and 6. Action item number 7, fiscal year 26-27 budget. Sheriff, you want to present your budget? Buddy, Chad?
I think it's too late.
Chad, your book's a lot bigger than what we have.
It's 'cause
It
he's
is.
bigger than we are.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chad Stroud. I'm the jail administrator, and the chief's passing out this document that I want to review and go over the detention side budget. All right, it's been asked that every measure be taken to reduce the overall budget this year. This document reflects the line items that I'm asking for an increase in, as well as all the line items I'm asking for a decrease in. I went through every line item and have found ways to reduce the detention center budget by a total of $116,000 and $116,733. This total reduction includes the line items that I'm asking for and the increase as well. The below listed is the line items I'm requesting a budget line item increase in, and the amount that's needed to operate the Hunt County Detention Center. The first line item that I'm asking an increase in is the 10641 1900 1145. That's the jail commissary salary stipends. That current budget is at $14,670. I'd like to increase that budget by $10,330, which would increase that budget line item to $25,000. I'd like to note on that one that it is the commissary stipend is an operating fund account, is not impacting on the taxable income base. Anyone have any questions over that?
What actually is that, Chad?
That commissary stipend is where we're doing a raises for 2 employees that are over the commissary accounts and manage the commissary funds in the facility.
Okay.
And that is coming from the commissary account where a check will come from the commissary account to the budget, to y'all, for y'all, to where there's nothing on the taxable base.
So you're giving 2 employees raising up a little over $10,000?
I want to correct that terminology. It's not a raise, it's a stipend. In addition to their regular salary, this is a stipend, not a raise. This is in our control as far as the amount of the money, the amount of the amount of the stipend. But
We'll call it increase.
pardon?
Call it increase.
We'll call it an
Being the
increase
correct
because they're
term.
doing supplemental work besides their primary duties.
So 10,000 would be to 2 people?
That would be the increase
Yeah, to 2 people.
for this year, 5,000 each.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. The next line item, needed, request increase in is gonna be the 10,641, 1,900, 2392, the uniform expense. It's currently at $13,516. I'd like, to increase it by $984, which would, take that line item to 14,500. This is where we buy all of our equipment, uniforms for our staff and things like that. Pricing has went up on everything. The next line item is going to be the 10641, 1900, 3112. That's the ammunition line item. Get over here. It's at $8,000. I'd like to increase that $1,000 to $9,000. Let's see. And what that pertains to, we currently have 56 officers in the jail that carry weapons for transportation. The inmates all over the state, United States, as well as hospitals and medical care, any type of transports that are going on. We have to, every one of us that are carrying a weapon have to qualify. And then we also do training throughout the year to ensure, to make sure that the next line item we'd like to discuss is the 10641, 1900, 3610 is the jail food. Our current budget is at $700,000. Asking for an increase of $35,000, which would make the requested budget at $735,000. The price of food is going up. We will be putting through the Trinity Services, who we have our contract through. That'll be on the August 11th Commissioners Court, where they're doing a 2% increase in their cost. So this asking amount would help cover and take care of that.
Is that a yearly contract, Chad, with them?
Yes, sir. It was 3 years when we first did it with the RFP, and then it's a contractual. Every year they can renew after that. And then every 5 years we have to go out for another RFP. So this will be the final year, and then we'll put it out for a contract, I believe, the next fiscal year. The 10641, 1900 is the 3631, the psychiatric services. That was at $72,000. They're going to increase by, we had a psych doctor ask for an increase by 12,000, raising that budget line item to 84,000. That one has already went through Commissioner's Court, a previous Commissioner Court, and was approved, I want to say a couple of months ago on that. And the last thing that requesting a increase in, I'm requesting for a new LVN position for a total employee salary increase of $21,728 plus any cost of living adjustment. This will be absorbing an existing detention officer position. This request is based off of a recent mediation the county had, and it was recommended that additional medical staff be added to assist with the medical care of the facility. We
On the LVN, so it's a new position.
It's going to be a new position that's absorbing one of our existing detention officer positions.
Yeah, but how are you applying a COLA to an existing position? I was just trying to follow, because it said plus any cost of living adjustment.
With the new position, if it's starts out after the figure that came from the HR department, if there is a cost of living raise that happens this year, I'd like for that to be included on top of what this existing
It
position.
wouldn't be hired until October, right? Or sometime after October 1st.
Well, we could, yes, sir.
And so you're just saying whatever happens this year, adjust 21,728 by that amount?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we currently have 2 LVN positions on staff. The third LVN position would add additional coverage to help ensure medical needs are being met and help relieve some of the daily pressures that our current 2 LVNs face. Medical Supervisor LVN Campbell and LVN Allen consistently ensure that their department is covered when any of their staff is off duty, including themselves. As of today, we currently have 334 inmates in custody. There has been an increase in psychiatric patients, chronic care, an increase in inmates over the age of 60 with diagnosis of dementia and Alzheimer's, and we have 5 that are currently wheelchair bound. Most of the wheelchair bound inmates are incontinent and require assistance with showering and all movement throughout the facility. The Alzheimer's and dementia population most often require longer stays in jail due to judges' competency orders and long waiting lists to be placed in mental health hospitals. Medical Supervisor Campbell has built a great working relationship with our hospital and our local mental health authorities to ensure that appropriate treatment is provided for all the inmates, and an additional LVN would help relieve the daily pressures that is faced to provide this care.
Commissioners, we got notice last week, I think it was, Chad, about our medical doctor for the jail is resigning as of the end of August.
August, yes, sir.
I met day before yesterday, I think it was, and with a hospital. And the hospital we're going to meet with them next week, and they're going to try to take care of that for us. I mean, there'll be a charge, but they're going to fill that void for us because the doctor that bought the practice of our existing doctor does not want to do that contract any longer. So have to keep you posted on that, what changes will come with that, because we don't know yet.
All right.
Just so everybody knows.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to help. We also left the hospital had been furnishing us medicine, and
Correct.
they're going to quit handling meds, but they've got to deal with medical chest,
Yeah.
something med chest here in town, they're still gonna provide the service from us, or for us, and they'll still be doing our deliveries to the jail. They still have couriers that'll bring meds to our jail, and they'll still be a source for us for getting the meds. So I
Yes,
think we
sir.
got it, I think we're gonna get that covered, I hope.
All right, if we go over to page 2 now, is there any other questions about that? The below listed items are the line items that have been decreased. 10641, 1900, 1164, that's just certification pay. Our current budget is at 27,600, decreasing it by 4,100. So that would take the requested budget to 23,500. And that is what that is the certificate pay for our licenses and things as we advance jailer to that whole thing. And we're having a turnover of people retiring and things like that. So we've got younger staff in the future that will increase because we're going to train them and get those licenses. The 10641, 1900, 2360 is the dues. That was a $500 in the current budget. We're going to reduce that by 200. The requested budget will be $300. The next line item is the 10641, 1900, 2370. That's the training in schools. We were at 24,097. Decrease it by $597. It'll take it down to 23,500. The next line item is 10641, 1900, 3195. That's the commissary purchases. That's going from, our current budget was at 200,000. We're going to decrease it by 125,000. So the requested budget for the next fiscal year is going to be 75,000. The next line item is the 10641, 1900, 3410. That's the expendable equipment line item. Our current budget was at $40,085. We're going to decrease it by $20,085, which would take the requested budget for next year to $20,000. And the last line item, the 10641, 1900, 3415 is a technology expense. That current budget was at $99,354. We're going to do a decrease by $47,379, which would, next year's budget would be $51,975. All the other line items that have not been listed, I'm asking that they remain the same and not be adjusted. So with the line item decreases total, the $197,361, and subtracting the increases in the new position that was asked for, comes out to $116,733 reduction in the detention center budget. So our current original budget was $9,440,982, and next year's fiscal year it would be $9,324,249.
You may have to help some other departments. I like reductions.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Thank you, Chad.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
Now the fun part.
Buddy Oxford, Hunt County Sheriff's Office. I'm gonna present the law enforcement, the sheriff's law enforcement budget, and I don't think Commissioner Harrison will be happy about me, but I'll try to use up what Chad's given back. But we started this year with, like you were stating earlier, we're trying to reduce everything that we can find to reduce. And I'm gonna start on the worksheet that y'all were given. in your packet would be the account number would be the 631-2000-2141, which is forensic analysis. We reduced that request by $1,000. And that basically, the money there is used to, for the lab test for the different DNA analytical analysis of physical evidence and so forth. The next line item would be the enterprise lease, which during the preparation of this budget, we thought we would be able to provide the communication director a vehicle using the enterprise program. I think we're not committed one way or the other on that. So that would be $13,000 we could take out of the budget request if the commissioners see the need not to participate in enterprise.
The need for that is for inspections on the radio towers and fixing radios where they're at all the cities and volunteer fire department.
Yes. What's happened is the director, communication director, has used her personal vehicle to make all these transports to the 5 different radio sites for different maintenance reasons, inspections, and getting them online. And she's also using her own vehicle to travel to all the fire departments, and I think there's 12 of them instead of 13, but there's 12 of them, and she's using her vehicle, so we're going to pay her mileage. And early on in the year, it was recommended to us from the courthouse it might be beneficial to provide her a vehicle instead of paying the mileage. So we put it in for that purpose. The enterprise program, I'm not sure of what the status is with the county and enterprise. We had a committee, but I don't know what happened to that. Whether it's still on board with us or gave the recommendations or whatnot. I've thought of supplying her, just buying her a vehicle and let her drive it. They use it also to go to training. So I think it's very beneficial for the communications division of the sheriff's office to have a vehicle available to them for use in the communication division. I just don't think we'll do enterprise. Any questions on? Professional services. You'll have to excuse me, my print's small. Employee psychological and med exams. We decreased that. We decreased that by 500. Professional services, we didn't request anything in that line. Again, vehicle repair and maintenance. Holy. Our current budget is $300,000, and we're requesting $300,000, so it remains the same. Other repair and maintenance, it's decreased by $2,000. Software repair and maintenance, it's increased. Our current budget is $159,000, and we're asking for $934,000. Any questions?
So we're replacing the cameras in the cars. That looks like the big expense? Or is it a renewal of what we have?
Okay, this is going to be the Axon Enterprise program, which is the in-car video recordings and the body cams, the interview room, and the cloud. They've given us a contract proposal. And the total being $855,120.55. That's a 5-year program. It's my understanding, I don't have clarification on this, the sheriff can't commit to a contract that goes beyond his term, current term. So the contract is scheduled to end in September of 2030. His term ends, if I get this right, December 31st of 28. So what we've done in the past, we've always tried to pay Axon up front. As soon as we get the bill, we wanted to pay it that year. That way, he was not obligated beyond his term. This time, we've accumulated so much with the different prices and things. I did go ahead and put in the total dollar amount. And if we get clarification, can he go beyond 5 years, or can he go the full 5 years?
Daniel?
Or does he have to wait?
On a lease on cameras for the sheriff, if it's a 5-year lease for that, can it go beyond his term in office?
Yes, if that's a contract that's approved by the court.
Okay.
Okay. So if y'all want to go year to year,
Change that dramatically.
it will. It
Yeah.
changes it to where that in September of 2026, we'll have to make a $69,136.29 payment.
So that'll be in this year's budget?
That would be this year. And then in October of 26, we'd have to make a payment $62,136. Then the next payment would be due in September of 2027, which would be this year's budget, or this proposal.
Proposed budget. Yeah.
So it will bring it down a lot. And so I would have to refigure it.
It's going to be like under $70,000 for this year's upcoming budget. Correct?
Well, I got, this year's budget, this
Current year budget,
current
you
year
got money
budget
in
would be
it to pay it.
69. So with the 62,000 and the 191, it's a total of $253,879. That would have to be in this proposal
Okay.
if we continue the Axon
Okay.
program, which,
So y'all can revise that and get it back to us then.
yes.
Commissioners, y'all good with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Chief, was that line item 4,200? 22, okay.
2235.
Okay, what's the 4,200 line item?
Equipment?
Exactly.
All right. Any other questions before we go to 4,200? $4,200. I put in the budget for 5 Chevrolets. Police vehicles, fully equipped. Estimated cost is going to be $461,641.60. And then we also put in to buy 10 tasers. Or no, 15 tasers for $77,022. So, previously, before we used enterprise vehicles, we had a program going to where that every year we'd get 5 new patrol vehicles. And in 5 years, we'd start rotating them out of service. And that's what I would like to get back into doing. I'm not really endorsing enterprise, but I think we would be better buying our own vehicles. And we maintain them. We maintain the enterprise vehicles.
How many vehicles do y'all have?
I don't know, Judge.
It's more than 20.
Oh, it's more than 25. That is correct.
Yeah. So
But
you're-
we
you're gonna
find
get on- some of them are gonna be, you can't replace them all on a 5-year.
that's
Five.
correct.
Yeah.
The 25 vehicle is patrol vehicles.
Okay.
We may, it's been a while, we may take some out of patrol and put in service in other divisions, but they're not driven the way patrol vehicles are driven. We might have other means of getting vehicles other than the 5 per year for patrol. That's left up to the agency to figure that out outside the budget.
Well, I think we need to have some conversations about that. I don't think it's good for the county to get back in the position it got where we had an average of 18-year-old vehicles. And a lot of that came because you started buying them, they're 5 a year, and you end up with old vehicles. You keep using a vehicle longer and longer because you don't have it. Then you end up with an old fleet. And I understand you're saying 25 patrol vehicles is what y'all have?
That's what the 5 per year
Would
is
do, but
to
how many
do,
patrol
would
cars
be
do you
patrol
have?
vehicles.
How many patrol officers do you have that are driving vehicles?
Right now, we have right at 25.
Okay. So then you're proposing that you'd roll those out after 5 years?
We would roll
and
them out.
they would be used for something else?
We would roll them out or dispose of them. And then we'd use other money either through the state funds, the contraband money seized, federal asset money seized to supplement the other vehicles for other divisions within our agency.
I'd like to see a plan on that if that's what we're gonna do, to make sure we're not getting in a hole down the road. Steve, you got comments on it, or you agree with that? Or?
No, I'm fine with it.
I mean, I'm open to suggestions if we need to buy more than 5 a year or budget for more than 5 a year.
Well, we gotta go back and look. I don't know what what we're paying. The enterprise is not in your budget. It's in the enterprise budget. Is that right?
It's in a separate budget all
Yeah.
by itself.
Yeah, it's all by itself, and we're going to look at, what kind of offset numbers and how it's going to really impact us.
Yes.
Did it impact us positive or negatively?
So am I going to meet with somebody
Yeah, you can meet with me.
and get back with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve and I'll talk to you about it.
I think if we do that, move away from the enterprise, which I tend to agree. I don't like leasing stuff either, but I haven't researched all the numbers out. But I think we do need to, if we move to that, we do need to put a countywide policy where if a vehicle gets so many miles, it's automatically out of service. We need to have something in place where whenever we don't have sheriff and, deputies driving cars that's got 300,000 miles and stuff on them. That's not a good look. It's dangerous for everybody involved, the citizens and the deputies driving them. So if we do move that way, I would suggest strongly that we put a countywide policy that a vehicle's, like you're saying, if it hits, I don't know what the numbers are, hits 100,000, it's going to go. It's not going to be a patrol unit. It's going to be pushed down to something else. It gets 200,000 is taken, it's just sold out of the book, you know, off the county.
Yes, sir.
Whatever. So, because, I mean, I don't want to get us into a place later on, because this court, or, you know, even y'all may not even be here in several years, somebody else. We don't need to buy vehicles, and then we got vehicles that have 400,000 miles on them again. I don't want to get back to that
Correct.
spot.
Yes, sir.
So-
Thank you.
But David, I mean, that's the part I like about the enterprise, because it's kind of baked in the cake what the payments are all the time. If you start going back that way, then you're gonna have some years we gotta buy 20 new vehicles, and then it's a huge number, and then the court at that time will kick the can down the road and say, well, we'll buy 5 more or 7 more this year. And before long, you're right back to you've got vehicles on the street, whether it be in facilities or, you know, constables' vehicles, whatever, they're gonna be old.
Yeah.
And so by having the fixed cost in it with the enterprise, and it's not costing us anymore, we're still paying, and we own them. It's not it's a lease, but it's creative financing. They call it a lease so that it works that way, but we own the car, and we have to pay it off eventually. And if it goes past the 4-year lease.
Lease with option to buy.
Well, kind of. That's
Basically.
kind of the way it's worded, but it kind of automatically kicks in. But, you know, if everybody's not happy with them, that's fine. We can have that discussion. And on either way, but I just caution, let's make sure you've got a real good plan to make sure we don't ever get back to where we were.
And that's what I was talking about.
I know
I haven't looked
I
at
know.
all the numbers either
But-
way. I'm just saying, I don't want to get into a situation where we're putting our deputies at jeopardy, and then, you know, this is not a good position to be in.
When you know as well as I do, when you get in a tough budget year and you got to find money somewhere, you can make that car last another year, and then you don't buy one. And that's what I want to try to. I'd like to try to prevent, or that's my advice. We ought to try to prevent.
Yeah, I'd like to work more with Enterprise to see, you know, this was a beginning of a program, but the problems we've ran into is I have, on my fleet, I have Tahoes, I have Durangos, I have the Ford Explorers, I have, you know, it's my fleet is not uniformed whatsoever.
Well, you got that because of COVID. We couldn't get anything.
Right,
but
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
And we can get away
if
from
we
that.
if we can get away from that, you know, and that would be one thing, is just getting, you know, the Tahoes lined up and everything like that, and get away from, you know, but that's been the problem. One of my fusses, and that's about it.
That's been a problem, but it's just all we could do.
You know, maybe that'll work out now.
I think it'll work out.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Y'all want me to go back up to go through each line item, or is there any other line items that jump out at you? You've done hit the two big ones.
Well, where are the cuts?
Well, that'll be quick. We're cutting $250 out of dues.
We need more zeros.
Yeah.
We're cutting, well, we only have 500 in it.
I know, but I mean,
But we got, we're cutting 5,000 out of criminal investigation expense. We're covering 5,000, or decreasing a stray animal expense by 5,000. Expendable equipment and tools, we decreased it by 50,000.
it's stray animals. Let's back up. That's when the cattle are out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We're decreasing 5,000 in radio tower maintenance. We're decreasing 6,500 radio software repair and maintenance. Decreasing travel in and out of county account 5,004 by 5,000. Decrease in radio equipment by 119,845 are the decreases. Thank y'all.
You gonna address courthouse security, or is there any changes to it?
In reviewing the courthouse security, I didn't see an increase in any of the budget requests.
Okay.
And then the Fund 82, there's $5,500. That's the same we had last year. No increase, no decrease in those two accounts.
Okay.
I'm assuming, Buddy, since I think it was last year, year before, we replaced the metal detector and whatever else, everything like that's still good for next few years or whatever in there.
Well, we've got money for the RAP scan, which is that X-ray machine.
Okay.
It's in there this year again for 45.
And that's for the maintenance of it?
Yes. Any other questions? Well, may I introduce the sheriff? Terry Jones. He'll have a presentation.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I didn't
First
hardly
thing is, I
recognize you
want-
without your hat.
Yeah, I know. I feel kind of naked without it, but we are going to do this. We just, about not enough cuts. Last year, I just want everybody to remember that, we went with, and I think the word that was used with me was bare bones. And we cut bare bones, and we cut nearly $1 million out of our budget last year. So it's hard to bare bones twice in a row. And so just keep that in mind. We're trying. I mean, we're not a money making organization. I know it costs the taxpayers. But my first thing is I want to show a picture of a map, just so that the citizens and maybe the commissioners will understand. That is 882 square miles and that shows your districts on where we got officers. Now, occasionally we have 6. That's what we're working towards. But most of the time, hopefully 5, and then if somebody takes a vacation, that's 4. The service to the public out there, it's a long hop all the way across the county. And that just shows, if you'll really look at it, how far we have to travel from one call to the next. Then you take up, we'll take the top one. If they go on a family violence, it's a backup call. You're gonna need 2 people. So at that time, that area up there is bare. So you're gonna have to run a unit. Another hot call comes up, you're gonna have to run a unit from down here, there. That's just what we're into. And this is more, this is just to educate. I had to apologize to a commissioner because I was joking with him the other day because he's down a man, had five men on his precinct, and somebody didn't show, or he had lost somebody. That we can't handle not having 5 men. We can't handle not having 6, actually. Somebody has to take a vacation occasionally too, and somebody's sick. But the main thing is I just really wanted the public to know the distance we're traveling, the area we're covering with 5 people, 5 to 6 people. We can move on to the next one. Okay, your agencies around here. Now, these numbers are pulled off the internet, and they may vary a little bit, but you're still going to get the gist of it. Greenville Police Department runs 5 to 7 officers per shift, covers 33.4 miles, serving 37,069 citizens. Caddo Mills Police Department, they run 2 to 3 officers on their shift. 4.2 square miles covered, 5,715 population. Commerce Police Department, 3 officers, 8.3 square miles, 9,928 people served. Now, you keep in mind, too, they also have A&M Police that's patrolling. Quinlan Police Department, 1 to 2 officers on per shift, 1.3 square miles, 1,700 people served. Hunt County Sheriff's Office, 4 to 6 officers on the shift. We're kind of close up here with Greenville. 882 square miles. Rural area serving 73,603 people. That's quite a bit of difference in area coverage, quite a bit of difference in backup situations, quite a bit of difference in danger to the public and the officers that's out there patrolling it. Salary comparison. Now, I know we've compared in the past to other counties off from here, and I understand the reasons why. I've been through all of that. But this is who we're losing officers to, and here's why we're losing officers. Greenville Police, we start out at $66,985. That's our starting salary for a deputy. And the sad part about it is we don't have the big step plans like these other agencies do. Greenville Police Department starts out at $74,476. That is $7,491 more than the sheriff's office. Royce City Police Department, $74,260 starting. That's $7,275 more than the Hunt County Sheriff's Office. Josephine Police Department, $73,500. That is $6,515 more than the Sheriff's Office. Rockwall Sheriff's Office, $72,900, $5,915 above Hunt County Sheriff's Office. Caddo Mills Police Department, $68,200. That is $1,215 more than the Hunt County Sheriff's Office. Now, Fate's not one of these that touch us, but I'm going to touch on why I put this in here in just a second, too. Fate Police Department start out at $81,801. That is $14,816 more than the Sheriff's Office. Now, if you'll figure that percentage over there, we're going to be pretty close to a 10% difference above everything that the Sheriff's Office makes. Now, the thing is about investments in our deputies and trying to get up to where we are paid, to where we're not losing to these agencies right here that we're training for, is starting salary and then 20 weeks of FTO, 20 weeks of field training. They have to be with an officer to be trained. You're investing $25,763.40. That's on the field training. Then you got your benefit package that goes with that of $2,552.48. Then you have your uniform and gear, another $2,500. Then you have your firearm equipment, $1,200. You have $32,015.88 invested in this officer before he rolls out and gets in a squad car by himself. Okay? Now, that's why we don't need to be, we need to be comparable. We cover the most, and we need to be up there with everybody else. Because we are making investment, fully trained patrol officers, and losing our investment. Right off the bat, we lose. And this don't include once they get working. This just is what we lose right off the bat. Now, I'm back to Fates again. I love their flyer. That is an excellent flyer. It shows what they start out at. Remember the steps I talked about? Well, a patrolman there winds up with $100,605.74. But why I wanted to show you that, them three fine officers just standing there with the thumb up in the air, really enjoying their job. Look at that smile. We trained every one of them, including two more that's over there. There's 5 that's gone to Fates. They come from us. You know, I've got a lot that goes on to I can go back over the miles, I can go back over the population. But the main thing is our citizens out there deserve and expect public safety and what it takes to protect them. But not only that, our officers that's out there in the middle of the night by themselves, spread out all over everything, they deserve the compensation for the dangerous job that they do. And they're putting it all on the line, and they're doing it. And I'm telling you, we're not losing to them counties that's off from here that we're comparable with. We're not losing to them because these officers live around here. They want to stay. But we're losing right here for a few $1,000s more. We're losing our officers, and we're a training facility, spending our money on it. I appreciate your time. You have any questions? 8 months?
Is there an officer retention program?
Huh?
Is there an officer retention program in Hunt County?
No, what do you mean?
Like a compensation for retention?
That's what I'm saying. The STEP program, we don't have the STEP. I mean, we don't top out at $100,000.
Yeah, I'm saying we're spending $90,000 a year for the first year the officer's in place.
Yeah.
In 2 years, he leaves, so we just lost
Yeah.
almost $200,000 of money that we've trained for someone else to get all the benefit.
With the experience, with the knowledge, ready to go.
Am I right in my conclusion?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Anything else?
Anybody?
I do appreciate y'all's time and listening to me.
Sheriff, we appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner? You got any comments on budget process, what we got going on, or with the sheriff's budget, or? Leave it up to me to propose it? Is that what we're gonna do?
Well, I think we need to see the real numbers, you know. And I know we don't have them all tallied yet.
I'd appreciate a little guidance on what you want. Are we gonna, do you want us to look at doing something with
we
the
ought to
sheriff?
look
Or not do something, or with our animal control situation? What's, give me a little direction so I can get our budget filed.
Which one do you want to talk about?
All of them.
Do we know what
Go
our
ahead,
final?
Sheriff got a comment here? Hang on.
I just want to tell you, the last 6 months, we've taken 20,222 calls, 15,782 calls service. We've got officer initiated. That's where we engage ourselves without calls, and because that's 9,062 arrests, 337 traffic stops, 1,952. We are out there working, and I just wanted to put that out there, that we are out there doing the job. And we will continue.
Sheriff, I'm curious, how does that relate to your historics? Is that standard? I mean, it's a lot, no matter how you look at it. I'm just curious, are you on the rise, or are you just busy?
Yeah, we're rising. Population, I mean, it's just, we're growing so fast everywhere in the county, and we don't have a population of a city. Cities maintain a smaller area, smaller square miles, with that same officers that we're running. And we're running, I mean, you break it down on the population and everything, we're running the calls. So it is getting more and more calls, and the people want a different level of service now than in the past. In the past, kind of knew that we was spread out and that we was in a rural area. But a lot of the people that's moving here is coming from cities. They're trying to get out to the rural areas. Well, you know what they expect when they get here to the rural areas? They want that city service.
Concrete streets, curb and gutter.
Johnny on the spot.
Do we have any numbers that we're looking at? I mean, last year, the final number we were facing is like a $3 million deficit budget.
Correct.
And then this year, we said that the numbers are, the revenue is going to be about the same level, so we know that's not going to increase. Well, we're still facing, in my mind, I would think we're still facing $3 million deficit budget. We've had departments come in, ask for increases. We've made decreases, but do we have an idea what number we're even looking at? I mean, we keep saying, do we want to approve things, disapprove things? We don't have a number to look at to even know if we can afford things. I mean, I think we need a final number to look at. I mean, take the final number that we got, and with all the decreases and the ads that people have requested, and what does that look like? I mean, in my mind, we're sitting here shooting in the dark because we don't know what we're shooting at.
Well, David, we've got most of the budget put in per the request and what I have marked down, but what I've not gotten is any comments back. Where do we want, how much we want to cut? I mean, last year we tried to get to a balanced budget. I presented a budget that was balanced, and then it got cut down to, and where we had to have a negative or a negative fund balance, losing the words. We had come out of fund balance to balance our budget last year, and again, it's just just like this with the sheriff and these raises. Y'all said, well, we want to shoot for a 6% raise. Well, now the sheriff's asking for 10 or more raises, 10% or more raises. So y'all want us to look at the 10% more, or you mean to do the 6% like we're doing everybody else? I mean, it doesn't help us if we sit here and we input all of it and we come in here and you tell us, well, let's change all of it. Y'all are hearing the same things I'm hearing. You've got all the same sheets I've got. So what's our target? You want me to try to get it balanced?
What if we look at a balanced budget with all the requests as requested and see where we're at with the reductions that we have made? We moved the road crew, that was 300-something thousand.
Right. Well, y'all done that, but a lot of the other
yeah.
departments haven't. But I've been cutting a lot of the other departments.
So we know the starting point is flat, right? I mean, as far as a number that we know.
Well, as of this week, 2 days ago, I guess, we got the tax rate from the tax office. The tax rates we can charge are the projected. No new revenue rate is 0.3. 0.34. I love this 10-page calculation. 334,874, which is about I think it's 12/10,000ths of a cent more than our budget was last year.
So,
If you use that budget, if you use that tax rate of no new revenue, which we've been trying to do the last several years, except for last year, we did go a little bit above it. And our new tax base of 16,151,889,230 it generates 1,184,770 of new funds. But we're putting in a 6%, y'all said to work on a 6% raise, and that was $1,005,000-ish. And then y'all, there's been some cuts, and certainly with y'all cutting out the road crew and blending those into y'all's budget, that saved us $350,000, give or take some money. And some of the departments have cut, but there's no big, deep cuts anywhere but from where y'all are. But then y'all said y'all want to recover the $250,000 for each of y'all's precincts, is what I'm hearing, that y'all gave up last year's budget, which is, I'm not saying that's not a fair statement, I'm just saying that's what it is. So it's gonna be hard to get to a no new revenue rate and do some of the spending without some severe cuts, more probably than what we've had, and give that kind of a raise. And then you throw in the sheriff, which I totally agree with the sheriff. We got to do better to retain our deputies and our staff. We got to pay them competitively what's around. They're the one office that really we got comparable numbers for the most part. And so, it's frustrating, trying to put a budget together that I'm not sure what y'all are looking for. So I guess I'll try to make it a balanced budget and give all the requests I can give.
so is the road crew really the only thing of significance that's been reduced?
Out of Fund 10, there's other cuts, but nothing to that significant.
Because I know we got some
We
personnel things.
We lost a couple of people, or we've cut, two positions out of facilities, which with we're going to have to restructure some of that to give a couple of promotions to replace some that had those higher titles. We're going to save Bernice, 150,000, is that about right? Around 100,000 at least. And I don't know of any other department that's given us any huge cuts. The judges, I've looked at, most of them are staying pretty flat. A couple of them I know have cut theirs some, but I don't think they all cut their budgets, which they have bigger budgets. But
Do we roll in things, have you already given consideration, things like, we had the change on the volunteer fire departments, we're down one from a year ago. Did we take that out?
That's $60,000, whatever, yeah.
We had the spyglass, which is over $80,000. I know those.
Well, they got, of course we had to pay. They got
Yeah, but
two-thirds of that.
next year it's all ours.
Next year it's all ours, correct. Yeah.
Let's just compile it all together and see how close we can get to no new revenue.
Well, the trouble is,
And pull out the.
I'm gonna present y'all a budget as balanced as I can get it, because we got to get it filed. The law says we're supposed to file it August 1st or as soon after as possible, and we didn't get our numbers from appraisal district, or in the tax office till this week, so there's no way to finalize it and get it in, but I need to get it filed next week, so I'm gonna do a balanced budget and fix the rate where it is to make it balanced with all the cuts I can come up with, and give the requests that I feel like are valid. And we'll see where we're at from there, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Anybody got any better ideas?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
Not till it's compiled, you know.
Well, I understand it's tough, but it's hard to put that together when you don't, you just now know what revenue
No, I
potentially.
get it.
I mean, it's all backwards. Summer understands it's hard to start putting numbers in when you don't know how much revenue you potentially can have. It makes it real difficult. All right, anything else today? Daniel, you got anything? All right, this time the court will adjourn into executive session as permitted by Texas Government Code Section 551071 to discuss data center regulations, silk stocking road work, utility damage claim, ESD number 1 petition, Davis lawsuit, and 2026-27 budget. We'll be in executive session at 11:11. I forgot who you were. All right, we're back in regular session. It's 12:22. Is there anything else before the court today? Being none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 12:22. Thank you, everyone.